You probably just hopped on this video and saw me and said, dang, you look real comfortable. And I really am. I got my blanket over here with me. I'm on the floor. If you know, you know. The floor is actually so comfortable. Sometimes the bed is comfortable, but the floor can be even more comfortable. The reason why I'm here on the floor is for a few reasons. One, because I want to set a scene for you. This is the main reason why I'm here. A lot of times when we talk about depression, I think we may mention this, but it's not something that we really dive into, and I want to really dive into it today because I think it'll be very helpful for those people that are trying to support their friends, family members, loved ones in general that are going through seasonal depression. And again, the reason why I'm highlighting seasonal depression because I feel like it's something that we skim over a lot of times in conversation because we kind of just pinpoint standard depression, but seasonal depression kind of takes the back burner or just doesn't get expanded upon enough. So that's why I'm taking this inventory here in this season of Phenix Speaks. But before we get into it, we got to talk about where we are. So right now I'm in my bedroom. I'm currently, I thought I knew the date and I didn't. October 24th. We about 5 days from my birthday, y'all. But yeah, so October 24th, 2023, and it is 5:03. Can't read. I got these glasses on for nothing, huh? But anyway, yeah, I'm on the floor, y'all. If you're watching the visuals, you can already see it. But if not, you're on Spotify or anywhere else where there's just audio. That's where I'm at. That's where I be. This episode, again, is for people that are trying to support and love and comfort the friends and family members and loved ones that they, have that are going through seasonal depression. And, being here in my room is prolific to this experience because for someone that has gone through seasonal depression and, to an extent deals with it, this is probably one of the top places that you will find that friend or family member that is going through seasonal depression. And I want to kind of paint a picture for you. This is just my generalization. There's no study behind this or anything like that, but I think that it can be assumed that a good majority of people that do deal with seasonal depression oftentimes experience it the heaviest when they're in their lonely places. And most times when you are most alone, depending on your situation, of course, it's when you are in your room. You're going to bed or you're preparing for bed, or even if you're just chilling in your own space in your room, is probably that place where you created this, I would say, subconscious sanctuary of depression, of seasonal depression, and things that can enable it, right? Case in point, there are a lot of people that deal with depression of all sorts, and sometimes the reflection or a symptom of depression can look like your space just being very disorderly. You might have a lot of clothes everywhere. It's just really cluttered in your space. Because even if it's not dirty, because I'm not going to call nobody dirty, I think we all deal with our situations in different ways, and it reflects in a different way for everyone. It can be very, very severe for some and very minor or mild for others. And so I don't want to place anyone on a hierarchy or even judge. But your space might look dirty, it may look junky, or cluttered, right? And cluttered can just mean like things are just everywhere, right? There's just not a rhyme or reason, or seemingly a rhyme or reason for how things are kind of put into your space. And I think I want to take into account that it can also look like none of that, right? And your space can be pristine. It could be the cleanest it's ever been, and you still could be dealing with the side effects of seasonal depression. And that's just really, it goes to show how complex this is. But I want to talk about a few things because I don't want to be long-winded in this, because I know that I can be. But the reason why I'm making this episode is because, again, I really do want to talk to the friends and family members of those that are dealing with seasonal depression. And I want you to have resources on how to support your people. Because I think that's very important that, just to be able to get out of depression of any sort, it's going to take a village. It takes support. And sometimes a lot of us that deal with depression in different capacities oftentimes feel so isolated, or will isolate ourselves because we're dealing with it. And to a certain degree, I think there are some of us that have been able to, scoop ourselves out of that depression with our own will and volition. And it takes that. It really does take you having to make a decision to move out of this, because it's a mind thing. But it helps to have support. It helps to have accountability. It helps to have people around you that can learn, or that have learned you enough to be able to, be aware of what's going on. And so I'm going to break it down in a few different points. The first point I want to talk about is just the act of patience. I think you really have to have a lot of patience in this world in general, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of people in the world, and you never really can have full control of what's happening in life. But when it comes to dealing with people, you really have to be, or you should learn to be patient with people. I don't want to say have to, because I feel like it's like you're forcing somebody to do something. You don't got to do nothing. Look, one thing I'm gonna say, all I got to do is be black and die. Like that's just is what it is. So I think you really should be patient. Try your best to avoid trying to rush someone out of their depression. You oftentimes do not notice this, but a lot of people tend to make situations about them when they feel uncomfortable because someone else is expressing emotion, or talking about their situation to a certain degree. And especially when it's a negative conversation, or a conversation about something negative, people will oftentimes like divert the conversation, or make the situation about them. And I think we all can fall victim to that. I don't think anyone's really exempt from that happening, but I think it's important that you are aware of when that's happening, that you can be a better support person for your person. Because a lot of times you will feel uncomfortable when they're talking about their situation, or you just visualizing, you see them dealing with their situation, and you're so uncomfortable that you'll just try to do everything and overcompensate just to bring them out of this space so that you can feel better about yourself. Because no one really wants to see their friend or family member, going through something, very difficult. But it does happen, and we have to be real about that. And we also have to be aware of how we're dealing with it and how we're supporting them. Something else you should be aware of, and this is a part of the patience process, is really just being aware of how that person may respond to you and respond to your actions. It's hard. It's very hard to deal with seasonal depression. And I think a lot of people don't even recognize the volatility of emotion and just the weight that can happen, or that you can feel when you're dealing with these things. And sometimes you will not be in your right mind. Sometimes you are not in a place where you have the capacity to take on anything. And that's just real. It's not something that is, I just picked out a thin air and said, here it is. No, this is a real thing. And a lot of times you don't even recognize until, it's whether it's too late, or after the situation has already been dealt, or the cards have already been dealt, that you as a person that's dealing with depression have reacted to something or said something that you didn't mean, and definitely just were speaking from a place of projecting. And I'm not here to talk about what that is and talk about how to deal with that. That may be another episode. But I do say, as a people that could be on the receiving end of those things, again, try your best to be patient with that person. I don't want to ever excuse behavior that can be so volatile that it's hurtful to the receiver, the person that received that. But I do want you to be aware that when you are dealing with depression, things can just be so different compared to what you're used to. The person that you know may act completely different than what you're used to, and it's so sometimes it really just evades all logic in your mind. You're like, how does this person acting like this? Like, why are they doing these things? Why are they making these decisions? Or just acting this way in general. And you could be so confused. You're like, I don't understand. It's not something to understand. This is a side effect of their depression. And it's hard to deal with, but if you are someone that loves them and wants to support them to the best of your ability, try your best to be patient with that. You know what I'm saying? Accountability can be had, when there is a foundation set for that, or a place where that can be done. But during that time, when they are really in the depth of their depression, more than likely they're not going to be able to have a good conversation to be able to deal with that and unpack what happened. And that's something that's completely different, and I don't even know how to navigate that completely, if I'm being honest. That's just something that happens, and unfortunately it is kind of like a casualty of seasonal depression. It's like, sometimes relationships really do take a toll. Things happen, things are said, and it's just hard sometimes to recover. But again, when you have love and you have the support that you're desiring for your friend, your family member, your loved one, it is important just to be patient with them. Be patient with that process. So the next thing I really want to talk about is consideration. This is a big topic for this season, I think, just because I think my intention for even, developing this in this way, the topics and the conversation surrounding this season are from a place of consideration, just considering those that are out there. And I think that's something that you really have to work to, how do I even want to say this? I think you just have to work to get to a place where you actually are more intentional about consideration in your life. It's hard for someone that is a supporter or a lover of someone to be considerate when you have not been, right? How can I show up for someone in a way that I've never done before at the best of my ability if this is something that's completely new to me? It takes time. It takes a process. It takes patience. It takes these things. You got to consider the circumstances. And sometimes if you're not a person that, is thoughtful in this way or considerate in this way in general, it can be so difficult to even get to this point outside of just having patience for someone. And patience is a form of consideration. It is a form of, caring and loving for someone so much and so deeply that you are able to, understand something deeper than just the surface level of, a hurtful comment or an action that may have not really been about you. There's a lot of things in depression, or a lot of reactions of depression that are not personal, and a lot of people take things personal more than they have to, and I don't think that's like a decision that anyone gets to make of like, oh, you should or shouldn't take something personal. But I think it is something to take into your own personal catalog of things that are going on in your life, and just think about and really ponder on whether or not what happened is something that you really do want to take personal, or if you're able to release it, for what it was, and that's your personal journey, really. But consideration is something that you really should do, or you should practice, I guess is the better way to say it. Practicing consideration. I think it's just something that a lot of people don't really do, and I think we need to do more of it. Examples of ways that you can be considerate. I'm taking this John off. It's getting hot, y'all. If y'all don't know me, I'll be sweating, so I'll be hot. But ways that you can kind of be considerate for people. One way in particular is you can literally go out in your free time, and just when you're at a store, or you're just out and about, and you're thinking of this person that you love that's dealing with this hard season of their life. Think about something that they like. Think about something that they might want or desire or need at this time, right? Everybody needs water. Everybody needs water. And not everybody drinks, bottled water or whatever the case may be. But it's something that you really should be drinking more of. And if you're someone that has a depression space or depression room, and you're not getting out much, or, it takes a lot, consider, as a person that's supporting, consider this. This person may not be getting out the house a lot or doing a lot of different things. They might be behind on groceries. They may not be even feeding themselves. So what can I do to assist them in this? Thinking about different things, whether it is, hey, maybe I could help meal prep for them, or find some resources for them that actually work better for them. Maybe, a full meal is not something that's going to work because they've been letting the food expire because they haven't been able to cook and do these different things. So maybe some snacks, things that are a little bit less perishable or take longer to perish, could be the go-to. You know what I'm saying? Your friend might like Pop-Tarts. Let's just say that, right? They like Pop-Tarts. You need water. Give them some water. Give them some Pop-Tarts. You feel me? Because it could bring them some joy, and just to know that somebody considered them could be enough just to give them an extra ounce of whatever they need in that day to get through, because this is hard. It gets difficult. There's some days when you're at 15%, there's some days when you're at 5%, right? And you as a person may not know where your friend, your lover, your family member is at that particular day. They may not be able to communicate that, but the best that you can do is just be able to be some type of support and consideration for them, right? Getting someone some flowers. Flowers are really nice. Not everybody is going to like them. but they could be really nice for that person. So think about the people that you love, that may be going through, and think about them a little extra when you are going through the day to day. People always are talking about or complain about money and having a lack of money, and I'm gonna be honest, it's hard out here in these streets. You feel me? But majority of us are gonna find a way to be able to pay for that extra meal that we want, or the extra thing that we desire, or whatever the case may be, and we have every right to do so. Maybe take into account your friend. You know what I'm saying? I can sacrifice this one extra meal that I, really don't need for spending $15 somewhere else for my friend, or even getting them an extra meal when I get my meal. You know what I'm saying? And then dropping it off, just checking in on them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's the little things that matter. Even if you just were in the neighborhood and you want to check up on your friend. Now, I'm not saying house calls are always the best go-to, because some people don't really care for that, especially when you are going through, because the mind gets to you, the pride of it all, and then you as a person that's dealing with this could be going through all these thoughts of like, wow, what if this, and judgment gets the best of us sometimes, because we've always felt judged in life. We felt judged in situations, and now when this comes around, when someone comes around into our space and they see these different things, we may feel exposed as a person dealing with depression. And so that exposure, it gets vulnerable. It feels judgmental. It can feel all these different things. And in our minds, it may not be that, but that's what it could be for us in our reality. And so we just got to be considerate, be mindful of those things as people are going through. One of the last things I'll say about, navigating this is that you definitely have to show yourself some grace. You are a person. You are someone that loves, someone that feels, someone that listens, someone that thinks. And you as a person have to also take into account yourself. And for a lot of people, I think it's safe to say that a lot of us may not know when we're dealing with some serious mental health issues. And we may not always understand that some seasons of our life are something that we may not have the words yet to describe or the labels to put on, but it's something. And a lot of times we fail to recognize ourselves and what we may be going through. I couldn't tell you how many other times in my past where I was going through a season of depression. Maybe it was a depressive episode, or even actually seasonal depression, or whatever it was, anxiety. And I didn't have the words to put to that until I was a little bit more educated on some things, and I was less ignorant to the realities of life. And that, it just comes from a lack of knowledge. Not that ignorant is a bad thing per se, but it's just a lack of knowledge. And so I couldn't tell you how many times that was my reality for so long, until I got to understand some of these things a little bit better. And that really changed my whole perspective on so much regarding depression and regarding mental health in general. This walk isn't easy at the end of the day, and I think that we have to really be real about that. It's just not an easy walk, and you being someone that may be trying to support your friend, or even you being the friend themselves, you got to show yourself some grace, because life is hard and life sucks sometimes. But it will get better. It can get better, and it's hard sometimes when you're going through the deepness of it all, the weight of it all, to see sunshine on the other side. But one thing I can be sure of is that sun is going to come out tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? The good sis Glorilla said that. That's why I love tomorrow, because it's going to come out. The sun's come back out. You feel me? And so that means you have another opportunity, another chance to live and to love and to laugh and to grow. I sound like one of them the posters on the wall. But real talk, you know what I'm saying? You are very, very important to this world. Your existence, your presence on this earth is important, and recognizing that can really give you some more energy just to get through the next day and the next day. Don't think about 10 tomorrows from now. Think about the present moment. Move yourself out of that, because the present moment will technically become tomorrow. Today is what I said. Today was Tuesday. Tomorrow gonna be Wednesday. But when I'm in Wednesday, I'm gonna be in the present moment. So tomorrow came and went. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday was Monday, and Monday was here. I was presently in Monday, but it came and it went. And that's just how life goes. And so just like the days go, so do the depression. The depression can come and it can go, because it's seasonal, right? And sometimes it's gonna hurt. Sometimes it's gonna be uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, you do have to learn I'm gonna tell you this: you do got to do this. You do have to learn to show yourself some grace. You know what I'm saying? Be okay with, hey, I'm just not okay today. Be okay with that, because you are a person. You're a human being. Sometimes you are okay, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're at 100%, sometimes you're not, and that's okay, because that's the human experience. So I hope that this episode really brought to light some of the things that I really desired for it to do, which was just to help educate some of you all on how to be supportive. And this is not the end all be all. These are not the only things that are available to you. I definitely encourage everyone to research. Do your own personal research. Take time to go look at peer-reviewed essays and articles. There's plenty of websites and resources, especially regarding mental health resources, that you can go and seek out that will help you in this journey. It's hard dealing with mental health issues. It's very difficult, especially if you're dealing with multiple, because there's a plethora of anxiety, there's depression, there's seasonal depression, there's PTSD, there's schizophrenia. There's so many different things. It's so expensive. It's so extensive. And I want you to take into account that there's a lot of knowledge out there, and there's a lot of things that you may or may not know. So do some research, look up some things. A lot of times we think, hey, nobody's talking about this, so there isn't this. Sometimes it's actually out there. It really is. I think a lot of the times really it's actually out there, and we're thinking that it's not, but it's only because we're so used to one space at one time. We can't see. My window is closed right now. Can't see the outside, but it's still there. And I know if I go 5 minutes down the road somewhere, I'm gonna find a Walmart. You know what I'm saying? It's still there. People in the Walmart right now, shopping for stuff, checking out right now. But I don't see it actively doesn't mean it's not there. So just because I think, oh, well, people are not talking about this, somebody probably is talking about this somewhere else. We may have the same thought that I'm having. But the world is so big and it's so extensive, and there's plenty of information out there for us to seek out. So I encourage you, do some research if you're really interested in trying to support your friends. If you are that friend, also try to do a little research. You got some time, you know what I'm saying? You may be on the floor. You may be laying down on the floor right now, you know what I'm saying? You may be laying in the bed, in your chair. You feel me? A lot of people got that one chair in your room that got a whole bunch of stuff on it. I'm looking at that right now in my room. I don't know why I put this chair in my room, because ever since it's been here, that's all it's been doing. I've sat in it maybe a handful of times. But overall, show yourself some grace. Be patient, people. Be considerate, and that's about it. You feel me? So if you see me in this space again, because I really like this setup is kind of nice. I like the floor. Like I said, it's comfortable. But you might see me in this setup again in one of these next couple episodes. There's more to talk about. Plenty more to talk about. Plenty more to dive into. But I love you all. I hope that if you're dealing with seasonal depression right now, any type of depression, any type of mental illness, or just any hardship in life, you're going through grief, you're going through a breakup, whatever the case may be, I hope that you're able to get the support and love that you need and you deserve. And hopefully these videos are able to either keep you company from that loneliness that you may feel, or just be able to provide a resource for you during your time of need. So I'm appreciative of you listening today. I'm appreciative of you being here. I'm appreciative of you being alive and here on this earth, because you matter. You deserve to be here. You are very important to the world and to the universe. So thank you for being here. All right, I'll check y'all on the next episode. Peace, love, Phenix.